This story comes from the pages of Venom War Deadpool Issue number 3. Please support the official release. The final issue of Deadpool's tale begins in the streets of New York, where we see the likes of Silence, Morbius, and the other members of the Monster Society fiercely engaged in combat against the ravenous zombio-infected citizens. Now fully powered up with the symbiotic remains of his dog Princess, the Venomized Deadpool went to war with Jimmy Hudson, the son of Wolverine, also known as Poison, who was on a berserker rage, killing anyone in his path, whether that be friend or foe. As the nearly immortal men tore into each other, Deadpool turned his unorthodox fighting style up a notch, where he then chomped down on Poison's head and tried to calm him down within his own mouth, where the guy then pierced the roof of it with his long razor-sharp tongue. I never thought I'd see the day where Terry Crews would have competition in a big tongue battle, but here we are. Things would then cut to Silence, as we'd see her bludgeon several zombies to death, and would remark that her anti-venom was slowing them down. However, their numbers were too great, and they'd need Deadpool's help in ending this threat for good. However, Wade still had his hands and tentacles full of poison, where he attempted to wrestle the man down and speak to his humanity, where the guy would then activate his overgrown bone spurs, piercing Deadpool's entire body, shoving out some pretty important looking major arteries. Saying that Jimmy was as stubborn as his father Logan, Deadpool was ready to give up on the guy, where suddenly an explosion would rock the streets, where the mutant would then witness a frantic mother and father running with their children as they were relentlessly chased by a band of zombies. This must have activated the innate paternal instincts within Jimmy as he regained control of his actions, where he and Deadpool banded once more as they resumed their ferocious battle against the growing alien undead. United with the ferociousness of Poison and the unyielding might of the monster army, Deadpool and his soldiers fought tirelessly against the Symbiotes, knowing that they were the last stand. No hero, no Avenger was coming to help them. It was this band of what society dubbed rejects against the literal world. Despite their odds, the selfless heroes soon emerged victorious, having killed nearly every symbiote that had come their way. With this brief reprieve, Wade and the other monsters rounded up the survivors they could find so they could lead them to safety before the inevitable arrival of more infected. To myself and many of the viewers' relief, Deadpool had even managed to combine his healing factor with his symbiote, fully bringing his dog Princess back to life. Thank God, I really thought she was dead. Marvel, don't ever hurt vicious alien Clifford ever again. Despite the threat being over for now, Poison remarked they certainly were not out of danger, for he could feel his berserker rage taking over once more, where Deadpool replied that if this were the case, it was time for them to finally end things. Silence, having enough blood and gore for one day, asked the men if they were just planning on fighting until they were both dead, where Deadpool then told the young kid to sit this one out, where she argued back, only to be interrupted by everyone's favorite mustache TVA member, and that would be Agent Mobius. Absolutely delighted to see the dude, Wade welcomed Mobius with open arms, where we finally got a crossover I've wanted for a minute now, where Morbius thought he was being called, only for Wade to call out the distinct difference between Mobius and Morbius. Get Morbius. With Mobius leading a team of TVA agents with him, the troops surrounded Poison, ready to send him back to his home dimension, which was the ultimate Marvel universe. Absolutely not willing to let her friend be taken away like this, Andy threatened the agents, where Jimmy, still having some semblance of control, told her that it was best this way and to let the men do their jobs. We then see that it was Wade all along who had contacted the TVA, where Mobius paid him the finder's fee for this bounty. Wilson then told Mobius they could use his help in this battle against these symbiotic undead, where Owen Wilson then straight up told him that it was not his job, where he and his troops then disappeared with the time-displaced son of Wolverine. Enraged, Silence then confronted Wade about selling Hudson out, where the mercenary then cut the conversation short, saying that there were more zombies on their way, and that she could put that fiery attitude to work against them before they continued this chat. Locked in life and death combat once more against the invaders, Andy and Wade had their own therapy session mid-combat, where the girl voiced her disgust at Wilson for what he did, where he remarked that while his actions were not entirely altruistic, it still brought the monster metropolis out of hiding, where they fought for humanity once more, believing that this just may repair their relationship with the surface world. That, and he did get a pretty sweet payday for selling Jimmy to the TVA. Hey Deadpool, you get that bag, baby girl, and don't let anyone make you feel bad about it. Actually having a sense of maturity for once, Deadpool then told Silence that she could hate him all she wanted, but what they did here on this day struck a match, creating a series of events that would keep the young woman quite busy long after this was all over. These prophetic words would ring quite true, as we see days later, our heroes were victorious, the Venom War finally being over. Here we would see monsters roaming free on the surface world, where we'd see Andy speaking to the likes of Frankenstein and Morbius once more. The woman was now acting as the official liaison for the human world and the monster metropolis, working to repair and unite the relationships between both societies to make for a better future. Relieved to see the citizens going back to their normal lives, we'd see Deadpool and Princess chilling aboard a rooftop. Wade would then ask the pup if she believed that Andy and the monsters would ever forgive him for what she did, where she let out a rather unconvincing whine. Knowing this was likely true, the merc with a mouth then leapt off into the distance, saying that who needed these friends when he and his dog had each other.